And we begin with a Fox News alert. A gunman opens fire on Russia's ambassador to Turkey. Now multiple reports say the diplomat is dead.
That attack happened in our first hour of Happening Now. It happened in Turkey at a photo exhibition during which the ambassador was delivering a speech in the Turkey capital of Ankara. And we are just getting our first photos of the gunman, who wore a suit, as you can see, and a tie, and according to eyewitnesses shouted Allahu Akbar, God is great, in Arabic, before firing several shots. And during this time, he continued a rant. That rant was said in Turkish, however, and that's notable for a few reasons. Joining us on the phone now is Tom Stevenson, a GRN reporter based in Istanbul, Turkey. So, Tom, this happened just a few hours ago. It's about 9 p.m. in Turkey at this time. What's the latest from the local reports?
Well, Jenna, there's a lot of information coming through. What we know for certain, what we have through video evidence, is that a gunman opened fire from the rear of the Russian ambassador in Ankara about an hour and a half ago, shooting him 3 or 4 times in the chest, and then proceeded to go on a rant, as it were, saying, remember Syria, remember Halep, meaning Aleppo, you will not be safe until they are safe. So according to the best information we have so far, this assailant was, it seems, a Turkish policeman. That's been information put out from the mayor of Ankara. We believe, in fact, that his name was Mevlut Mert Altintaş, although that's yet to be 100% confirmed, but looks to be with a high likelihood that he was a Turkish policeman working in Ankara who has now, in fact, assassinated the Russian ambassador there.
Tom, just go back to that point. As we're looking at an image of the shooter on our screen, and just so our viewers know, on social media there is a lot of video of the assassination actually taking place. We don't feel it's appropriate to play at this time, but that's why we have an idea of what actually transpired, that this man that's in the suit is standing behind the ambassador. So somebody that was able to stand behind the ambassador, and then as the ambassador is speaking, you see the ambassador being shot, and he steps forward and he goes on this rant. This is some of the photos that we're getting because the Associated Press photographer was there at the time, and apparently was one of the first people to report internationally that this happened. But Tom, go back to the point that you just mentioned, that the shooter has been early identified as some sort of law enforcement.
That is correct. I mean, the first point is that this assassination has taken place in one of perhaps the premier art gallery, government-run art gallery in Ankara, in Turkey's capital, the Modern Art Center, which is just down the road, I should say, from the U.S. Embassy. It's got metal detectors on the front. Nonetheless, this is someone who's managed to get through those into the event with a weapon, get behind the Russian ambassador, Mr. Karlov, and fire into him and to kill him. It looks very likely at this point that he was, in fact, a Turkish national and a Turkish policeman. Now, after the assassination, he does give a very short snippet of a speech in Arabic, but it's with a Turkish accent. I speak Arabic, and I could barely make it out. It's sort of mumbled. It seems like he is a Turkish national, but one perhaps with jihadist or extremist sympathies of some kind.
And of course, Turkey has had its own issues with terrorism, and this is complicated. It's going to be hard for us to unwrap, Tom. But if you could just at a surface level for our viewers, Turkey is a member of NATO. There's certainly been a lot of tensions between Turkey and Russia. What do you think is obviously this is very significant because it's a murder of an ambassador. But talk to us a little bit about the tensions between these two countries, Turkey and Russia.
Well, that's right, Jenna. I mean, aside from the significance, of course, of the murder of an ambassador and for the man's family and for the two countries, the fact is that both Turkey and Russia are perhaps the two key international players in the war in Syria. On different sides, they've had a lot of tension between them already. A number of months ago, Turkish forces shot down a Russian fighter plane. That was a huge international incident. This one, of course, is going to have huge consequences. The Turkish defense minister, I should add, was due to fly to Moscow this evening for a summit, which a trilateral summit between Iran, Turkey, and Russia about the Syrian civil war. I don't know at this point whether those plans are going to go ahead, but it's certainly going to have a huge effect on relations between the two countries. For the Turkish government's perspective, the officials are already trying to present this as there have been some, in fact, one of the advisors to the president saying that this might be a false flag operation, trying to implicate the United States, perhaps. But it's certainly, however this plays out, there's no doubt that this is going to have huge effects.
Well, that's invaluable information. We should underscore for our viewers, you know, there are a lot of conspiracy theories often surrounding some of these big stories. One of them with the military coup in Turkey. The Turkish government pointed at the United States as well. So, well, that's going to be a key part of this, the reaction inside Turkey to the assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey. And you're seeing, again, the alleged shooter right in the middle of your television screen. Tom Stevenson with GRN, some invaluable perspective for us. Tom, thank you very much. We'll get more on this story as it develops, John.
Yeah, we will continue to follow that breaking news out of Ankara.